Hi, I'm James and thanks for tuning in to eBuyer. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at this MSI 27-inch curved gaming monitor with an awesome VA panel and a super fast 165Hz refresh rate. It's perfect for some of the biggest games out there. In this video, I'm going to be unboxing it, actually building the monitor up and testing it out with some of those titles to see exactly how it performs. Let's do this. First things first, let's go ahead and unbox the monitor and cover off the build process. How complicated or easy this is often a good general test of a product from the outset. So let's begin with that step. Taking a look then at what comes in the box, we have of course got the monitor itself, bit of an obvious one. We've then got the metal monitor stand base that we're going to build in a second. The rear arm, which connects the base to the monitor itself. You then get a helpful power adapter included as well, alongside both a DisplayPort and a HDMI connection. It's really great to see MSI include both of these, would allow you to plug up a console or a PC simultaneously in fact, which is nice to see alongside any included documentation. I'm going to take all of these out their bags and protective packaging before actually building the monitor up. It's a good idea when you attach the stand to leave the monitor face down in the polystyrene that you come included with. With it being a curved panel, you don't want to rest this on a table as you may end up putting too much pressure on the leading edges of the monitor, which could cause damage. So keep it in the polystyrene, it will just make your life a little bit easier. With everything out of the box then, we can go ahead and focus on the key bits for the next step. We've got the central column with the included screws. You will need a screwdriver for this step as well. And then of course the base of the monitor itself. Alongside this, something we didn't cover off a moment ago, you get a plastic cable shield, which we'll need to use in just a moment's time. Let's go ahead though and actually pop the monitor centrally on the table, move the cables out of the way, we won't need these for a little bit longer yet. Bring your monitor in and then very gently peel back the actual sort of polystyrene or polythene cover, shall we say, which reveals 4 screw hole locations here. You then want to nice and simply take the included stand and just pop this over onto those 4 screw hole locations. There's a couple of sort of standoffs or nubbins, if you will, that stop it from going anywhere while you actually fasten it and screw it into place. And then just go ahead and finish things off with this solid metal aluminium stand. You'll actually find a screw pre-included and you can just twist this little handle to secure it into place nice and easily, which makes it a fairly toolless design. Apart from, of course, the 4 screws you just need to pop in there. Tighten this so it's nice and tight. You want to make sure the monitor is not going to go anywhere. And then use this central column and stand to actually lift the monitor out of the polystyrene. Remove the polythene bag from the panel itself to reveal that absolutely beautiful curve. Look at the curve on this MSI panel. That is pretty stunning. I think the best thing to do now though is actually to power the monitor up with a powerful gaming system and test out the panel in some real world scenarios. As usual, there's only a few ways to really test out the image quality and refresh rate of a really nice display like this one. Let's start off quite easy and just run through the Forza Horizon 4 benchmark mode. This will give us a really good opportunity to see the vividness of the colours before we go ahead and test the high refresh rate and low response time in a moment with something like Valorant or Doom Eternal, which are much more reliant on those super quick reaction times. But for now, it's pure image quality with Forza Horizon 4. Straight away then, first impressions are pretty good. Even from this sort of side-on viewing angle, the colours look really great still, and of course the curve really helps with that. It means you're not viewing the monitor at quite such a steep angle from the edges. Perfect for say a dual or a triple monitor setup. The curve also comes into play really nicely when sitting front and centre in front of the monitor. It makes the left and right hand side of your peripheral vision that bit more immersive and actually lends itself to even better image quality. The bright areas of the image look good, the text looks really sharp, particularly this is something you should be able to see watching this video quite nicely, just how crisp we are around the letters. Even still, the bright areas like the flame at the back of the car, the rain and the motion blur all look fantastic. And the 165Hz refresh rate is working really well for us here, where we're currently sitting in the top right corner at about 130 frames per second. A 60Hz monitor would only allow you really to see half of that frame rate, where we're going to be seeing all of it with this 165Hz panel. The 165Hz panel essentially reduces the gap between when the screen refreshes to a new image. That's going to be particularly useful in the next title today, Valorant. Next up then, and one of the best ways to test out both the high refresh rate and low response times is Valorant, and there's a couple of reasons for this. First, in terms of the 165Hz refresh rate, as this essentially means that the screen refreshes the frame 165 times in a second. That's more than twice as quick as a standard 60Hz display, and means you have the opportunity to see the figures draw in that much earlier. In fact, you've got nearly 3 times as many rendered frames in a single second, as long as the frame rate is high enough, which it is according to the frame rate counter here, making competitive titles like Valorant, CSGO, Fortnite and Apex Legends quite a good match for a high refresh rate panel. In fact, gamers in those titles that have the high refresh rate will statistically do better in games. Response time then is the other element to that. This has a 1 millisecond response time. That's 4 milliseconds quicker than the average 5 millisecond response time found on standard monitors on the market. And what this means is that the time between the figure being rendered in on your GPU and your computer and the time you see it on your screen is that much quicker. That gives you the competitive edge once again in games like Valorant, as you can see from our work in the shooting range. I think there's one more game we can test though to really make the most of this MSI curved panel that really tops the list as far as immersion goes, and that is Doom Eternal. Now, how incredible does this game look? It looks absolutely fantastic. The graphics are amazing, and that immersive curved display really does make a huge difference. Plus, it kind of combines Forza and Valorant as far as both graphics and the reliance, of course, on a high refresh rate is concerned. That's because here we're sitting at 230 frames per second, and the quicker that we can see the enemies on the screen, the more likely we are to be okay. It turns out gaming, though, at a bit of an angle is a bit of a challenge, at least more of a challenge than I'd first anticipated. Here we go, lovely stuff. You can get out of here, and you... Yes, yeah, beautiful stuff, looking good. I'm really enjoying Doom on this curved panel as well. Looks fantastic, and our MSI curved monitor is doing itself proud. Look at it go. Fantastic stuff. Otherwise, though, that just about wraps it up for our first look, unboxing and test of MSI's awesome 27-inch curved VA panel with a super high 165Hz refresh rate and a fast 1 millisecond response time. If you'd like to learn more about this monitor, links for it will be found below this YouTube video. Thank you very much for tuning into eBuyer though, and as always, we'll see you soon.